Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ONS versus STO. This is the fifth final decisive match between these two teams, as we do have some fairly standard bans coming out here, Vayne being banned as well. I failed to mention my name is Nature, and I'm joined by Spuddington.
Hello, it is going to be a fifth game in this series, and honestly, thus far there has been a pretty significant and fairly obvious pattern to these games. The game plan basically is Snowball out of control for ONG Never Sleep, and the game plan for STO is play a controlled game, rely on your superior team fighting. If either of those two teams choose to kind of break away from those two patterns, we might see something interesting, but right now, well, okay, I don't want to say it's not interesting, but if the laning phase doesn't go the way that ONG Never Sleep expect it to, there could be a serious issue for them. They might be able to just shift it up a bit, though. I don't really know if they have the means to teamfight. Thus far, they've mostly picked laning and sieging composition.
Alright, so it seems like STO are actually going to pick up the Olaf here, as Kuja has picked up the Elise as well, so that means it is probably going to be a top lane Olaf, while Mimer has picked up the Lucian for his team. Miksha will be picking up the Vi for Amin, and Rales will be picking up the Renekton for Mimer. And on the other side of STO, we once again have Zilx. Oh, not once again, actually, because he is hovering over the Ezreal, which we haven't seen this series just yet. And Airwax is yet to make a pick of a champion.
Alright, well, interesting prioritization of picks right here, because seems like maybe STO are getting the better of this. Lucian is going to go the way of Mr. Rales. That's a dangerous sign. And obviously Armin doesn't like his vibe, but the fact they've got Olaf to go against Renekton is really, really good. He can outperform Renekton in a one-on-one, and he can actually do pretty well in a two-on-one situation as well. Plus, they have gotten the Elise jungle, which is such a strong jungler, and is clearly one that Airwax likes to have on his team. Also gives them the capacity to invade and potentially slow down a snowballing situation from Armin.
Alright, so White Knight will be picking up the Riven here, which we haven't seen this series either. So both teams looking to innovate a little bit here, as Armin will be picking up the Zyra for Mixture. Nothing... Oh, White Knight actually switching out to the Ahri the very last possible second, which is interesting because we don't tend to see the Ahri too much lately, but these games being formed around snowballing, that would make a little bit of sense, or a lot of sense actually, as Gob will be locking in that very last champion for his team. I'm not too sure what it is actually going to be, but it seems like they still need that mid laner, and it looks like it is going to be the Ziggs.
Interesting choice. Obviously that can work decently well against Ahri. Ziggs works okay against pretty much anyone, and against Ahri he actually has longer range than the Orb of Deception to punish with. Now that is a very interesting pick though for ONS, because it seems like they aren't changing their strategy. They are going for the snowball approach. They want to get that advantage early and really, really carry it home. Regardless though, guys, we are just going into the delay timer now, so we will be going into a quick commercial break. We'll see you after this.
feel so free, just believe we can come alive. We're so far from the ground, but I'm not looking down. Feel the warmth of the breeze.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the EUS Challenger Series number 16 Grand Finals, the final game in a best-of-5 series between ONS and STO. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the Rift, underway. I'm Spuddington, joined by Nature.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, Spuddington. Now we might have some trouble erupting here as Mimer and Gob, of course, are once again facing off in that top lane. They are looking to check that tri-brush. Gob, not really paying attention, it seems, will be backing away to his turret. And White Knight and Amin are going to be reinforcing Mimer right there. Gob just, well, walking back just a little bit. And it seems that they might be trying to actually steal that red buff.
Yeah, it does. That would be not necessarily a good thing, although there is actually an argument to be made for doing a buff trade this game if they can swing it. You see, if Armin were to go in, steal a buff, obviously, and Airwax be aware of it, he could then just go and steal the corresponding buff in return. But the thing is, if you do that buff swap, it means you know where both of the junglers are, and hence where they can gank more easily. So, under the circumstances, might actually work out in their favor there, and does seem like we are just going to be seeing straight blue buff take here from Airwax, going onwards then to hit red. Much the same from Armin, he'll be moving up, and it does also seem like we're going to be seeing the one-on-one in top.
Yeah, which is, well, been happening quite a little bit this series so far. Mimer rather, versus Gob in that top lane. Mimer now for the second time on his Renekton, where he has been playing the Vladimir the previous 3 times, and Gob for the very first time on that on that Olaf. So we're just going to have and see how that one plays out. On the bottom lane, however, we do have Yuki and Kuja in a very poke-heavy lane against, of course, Orales and Mixia. Quite a poke-heavy lane as well, and I'm not too sure whether Yuki and Kuja are going to be able to stay in lane much longer, because Orales and Mixia are putting down a whole lot of pressure already.
It becomes very, very difficult if you start getting behind in an Ezreal lane to stay in contention for kills. The thing is, though, it's always possible to just farm with Mystic Shots, and you'll miss out on a bit, but you won't fall too far behind. Kuja taking a bit of damage there, but nothing too serious. The much more important fact right now is that Airwax is sneaking in the top lane. Olaf is a matchup versus Renekton that does favor Olaf in the long run, but he's clearly trying to get that going and make it a guarantee for his team, because he is hanging around there waiting for Mimer to push down.
Yeah, he certainly is. Airwax might be looking for a cheeky little cocoon on towards Mimer, because this is, of course, the moment that you would want to kill Mimer, as in the later stages of the game he gets so tanky, and you really, well, maybe tend not to be able to deal with the Renekton, as as I said, he gets really beefy, and he's just going to sustain through all the damage you put down on him. But that is just going to be that. Airwax in the end not really deciding to gank Mimer right there. On the other side, however, Amin might be deciding to gank Gob, but of course that ward, or that river, has been warded, so they are going to know when that is going to happen, and he does not decide to actually go in through that Baron pit. He does decide to go in just through the regular lane, charges up the Volt Breaker. Gob could be in trouble here, doesn't have the Ragnarok, of course, doesn't quite get hit by the Volt Breaker, and some crit juking out of him will be keeping him alive.
Yeah, no way they could actually kill him unless the Vault Breaker missed, so he was happy to just kind of swap his, do the sidestepping thing, take a little bit longer to reach his tower. Now, Airwax is thinking about sticking around just in case, but I don't think he's actually going to want to go aggressive right now. The creep wave would do too much damage for them to dive really aggressively. Meanwhile, actually, in the bottom lane, we've had an interesting thing where both the supports have managed to sneak out of the lane and recall without the AD carry and support against them actually knowing at the time. So they've actually been able to go back and pick up a couple more wards that will increase their safety in that lane.
Yeah, that will. So White Knight in that middle lane is sitting at level 5 versus Zoox is level 5, of course. Now Zoox is sitting on a 35 farm, while White Knight is sitting on almost the exact same, so nothing really interesting right there. Zoox, of course, really has to stay behind his minions, because with the recent changes to Ahri, when he does manage to, or she rather, does manage to land that charm, that is going to be a lot of damage coming down on you if you do not manage to evade that. And of course, when you get charmed up, you are not able to evade that, because that is just free damage on you when you get hit up by the charm.
Yeah, I expect we'll see some ganks on the mid lane once Armin has hit 6. He's going to want to get Ziggs down relatively early, because Ziggs, he's got decent base damages, but he also likes his AP scaling. However, catching the bomb.
Yeah, Kuja gets caught, takes a whole lot of damage, and that will be first blood for ONS. And now they might be looking for a kill on towards Yuki. They will not be able to get it, however. Morales and Miksha going to be content with that, because that means Yuki now will be able to get forced out of lane.
Yeah, Yuki can farm with Mystic Shots. As I highlighted earlier, that's one of the strengths of Ezreal if you are in a difficult lane. But he is still going to lose out somewhat, especially considering the lane is actually pushing quite hard right now. However, the most important point at the moment is that Gob is actually in this top lane. And so is Armin. That is a dangerous situation. Are they going to go for the dive here? -6!
Yeah, he does use the Dominus, and he does use the stun on towards Gob. Gob has that Ignite taking on him. He's level 5. He doesn't have the Ragnarok, and they do manage to get it in the end. So Mimer picking up that kill, and that is going to be very good for them.
Smart timing call on the Dominus, because there was such a big creep wave. That was a lot of experience that Gob was being essentially denied because it was locked up in the minions at that point. Now, Airwax, taking advantage of the fact he knows Armin is in the top lane, is actually going to make a play possibly towards this dragon, actually deciding instead to just help Ezreal get his recall on. And now it seems like he's going to try and donate that blue buff to Ziggs, which is very, very important, because obviously he is out of mana right now, and that's not a situation you want to be in against.
No, you certainly do not want to be without mana on Ziggs. Sorry, I have to sneeze for a second.
You have chosen a very poor time for sneezing right now, because Armin is actually in the top lane with his ultimate used.
Yeah, so Assault and Battery.
Still muted.
Sorry there. No, I'm good right now. Sorry. Armin used the Assault and Battery. As he said, Gob has survived that one. He might just walk into Armin. Doesn't quite interrupt the recall. There's no point in actually interrupting that, because that might only have put Gob into towards more trouble. So in the meantime, Arax actually looking to steal his enemy's red buff, and it doesn't seem like that is going to be actually contested.
Yeah, interesting play though, because we've been seeing it a lot more with that top lane double gank, essentially where you kill the top laner and then you return and cut them off on their way back to kill them again. But that time Gob was able to escape it, and it shows the weakness of that play. Very risky. Airwax though in the bot lane, gonna get cut off. Wasn't actually able to get his gank done. And I have to question, did Yuki actually ever go back? Because it looks like he didn't. No,
it indeed doesn't look like he did. Well, it seems he has, of course, picked up some boots and a longsword, so he did back at least once, but right now it is looking like he will be backing for maybe the second time here in this game, as he is sitting on 1,000 gold, which is quite a lot of gold to spend, of course, and he will just be instantly picking himself up that phage. So we need a little bit of a power spike, if you will, starting to happen here for Yuki.
Indeed it is, but Yuki is in a situation where it's very difficult for him to really get aggressive, because Lucian does so well against him. He basically acts in the same way. He has short cooldown, strong spikes of damage for harass, but he can do it through the minions, which just means he can harass Ezreal when Ezreal can't harass back. In a straight up fight, yes, Ezreal's damage is going to be shorter cooldown, but Lucian is now already a long way ahead and has hit level 6 with a big creep wave there. Kuja being caught!
Stranglethorn's coming down. He takes so much damage. Ignite will be helping to finish him off. Rallis picks up the kill in the end. 3-0 for ONS. And we do have Airwax rotating over towards that bottom lane. That could be very, very dangerous for Rallis and Miksha. But of course, the grasping roots are available. And I don't think Airwax actually wants to deal with that.
No, he doesn't. And that is a bad, bad sign, because what is one of the themes that has been kind of pretty much throughout this entire best of 5 been happening in every single game. Actually, Zix in the mid lane not going to get engaged upon by White Knight. The theme that I was going to mention there is that essentially snowballing for ONS is so brutal to deal with. They are a really, really snowballing momentum-based team. Now, White Knight could get caught out here, probably going to be forced to ult.
Yeah, use the Spirit Rush, or Spirit Rush rather, to get out of there safely. We'll use that second charm to maybe decrease his time to get back to lane a little bit. And there you have it. The third Spirit Rush proc will be used to, well, of course, get back into lane, and he will just return to farming. Nothing really interesting just yet. But we on that top lane. Gold has gone on towards Mimer. Mimer taking a whole lot of damage, turning this one around beautifully. Airrex just gets exploded. We do have that Ziggs ultimate coming in, but it really isn't enough. Double kill coming in for Amin. Really strong start here for ONS.
Yeah, really taking that momentum, and now White Knight is going to finish off Zix, surely under the tower. Barrier pop, though.
Yeah, barrier being used. White Knight now in between two turrets. He will be escaping, however. But Zilx, of course, did not have his ultimate to finish off White Knight at this point. Great use of the timing on that one by White Knight. He might be looking to actually start pushing a little bit more to maybe finish off Zilx, because he has got the blue buff. Of course, he will have his ultimate available in 25 seconds. But it doesn't seem like he actually is going to do so.
Yeah, very, very smart there usage of the barrier bait from Zix. Nearly able to get that kill in return. But even if he just didn't do, the fact that he baited in essentially Ari meant she took quite a bit of damage that wasn't necessary. And I just got an interesting graphical glitch on the Lulu shield there. I don't know if you caught that. It was like kind of off at like some strange angle to where Ezreal is. So we just had like this weird halo effect from Lulu's like little ring thing that goes around it. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. That's just my own sort of curiosity. Yeah, it's quite strange.
Alright, so Yuki might be finding himself in trouble here. Gets a lot of poke down on himself. Piercing Light will actually take him down to half health. And that is going to be forcing Yuki away just a little bit more, as he is forced rather to pump all those potions. And Rallis will just be freezing this lane. It isn't going to be freeze just yet, as he will be pushing that one shortly. But we do have, of course, Amin now rotating over towards that bottom lane. That might spell trouble for Yuki and Kuja if he does decide to go in. He doesn't have his Assault and Battery available just yet, but that is going to be available in around 10 seconds.
Yes, indeed. Again, a very nice timing call by Armin. It seems like he's actually charging the recall. I don't think he's going to go. No, he didn't indeed. Now, Gob has lost his tower in this top lane, so that's a bad thing for them. But that's not the biggest concern right now. Elise is hanging around. They're using the ultimate just to clear the way, which means they're all in this 3-on-3. Would be worse. They may be looking for the engage, but this is bad!
Kuja just gets exploded right now. They are looking to try and focus Yuki rather, as he uses the barrier. Great cocoon on towards Rallis. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Assault and Battery comes down towards Yuki. Amen will pick up that kill. He is on a killing spree right now. Culling being used. Arax takes a whole lot of damage. It is 1 versus 3. Arax and his turret versus the world. Can they make it happen? A Cold Breaker comes through. Here we do have that Ziggs ultimate coming down. It really isn't enough, and Amin is on a rampage.
And this is not looking good. This is almost snowballier than the first game. We're 8-0, 13 minutes in, 14 minutes in, and there is a 5.5k difference. That is huge. Renekton is beating out his counter lane. Ari is able to roam freely where she wants. Is going to have to recall now, though. She doesn't have any mana, whereas Ziggs does, and she is going to stay in anyway. I'm not sure I agree with that call, but really starting to look bad, because they are now also taking these outer towers. They are taking the dragons. They're increasing that goal lead, and it does look. And remember, guys, this is the last game of the best of 5. This game is the decider. If they win this, they win overall.
15 or 14 minutes in rather, and they are sitting on a 7,000 gold lead. That is not nice at all for STO, who did get a couple of good games in there in the end. But as you said, this is very reminiscent of that very first game. Arax will be finding Mimer here. He really needs to get a good cocoon down on towards Mimer. Mimer looking to turn this one around, actually. Uses the Dominus. Arax taking so much damage for himself. Ignite is ticking, and Arax cannot fight this one. Mimer taking yet home another kill.
Someone have to worry. I kind of have to be concerned that if Airwax disconnected or something. Actually, we have a surrender coming in at 15 minutes. We have in chat P9 Gob saying, go push mid, GG. They literally cannot surrender at this point because it is pre-20 minutes. That's a little bit ugly there. It does seem like, well, that's going to be the game. So I may as well start getting to the notices about what's going on after this, guys. Because although this is the grand finals of the EUS Challenge Series number 16, this is not the end of the content that we have today. There is a separate tournament going on, which we have also been covering over the last couple of weeks, actually. The We Play Invitational, which will be featuring SK Gaming coming on later. A really, really fun game should be ensuing, and it's going to be Metas and Pulse casting that one. So, ladies and gents, when this game is finished, we will be taking the stream offline briefly because we need to swap out some of the overlays. But once that is done, we should have the next game coming up very, very quickly indeed. Apologies, though, for this last game. A little bit disappointing, honestly, in the result here, because generally we like for the teams to at least hold out until the 20-minute mark, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Players do sort of forget these reviews. Anyway, if you've liked my casting, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @Spuddington, and if you've liked Nature, you can follow him @LucasNature. Other than that, I'm trying to think what notices there are, and Nature, can you think of anything else to say?
No, I don't think I can actually do so, as STO making maybe a valiant effort to defend their base for some reason. Question marks coming out of ONS, but any notices I need to think of? No, I don't actually think so. Of course, maybe something that is worth noticing is that we do have this betting thing going on. So if you want to bet on the upcoming games, I'm not sure whether you can still actually do that, but regardless, if you want to bet on the upcoming games, you can head over to Esports Venture, or you can type !bet in chat and well, maybe earn a little bit of money betting on your favorite esports games. And aside from that, maybe it is always a good idea to follow the stream if you liked it. So click on follow in the top left and the bottom left corner, I believe, of your screen, and well, then you will be notified of all our upcoming games, of course.
Yeah, looks like they're actually going to be doing a little bit of showboating now, going to be heading off and taking the Baron buff, so we will have a little bit of time left to wait while Yuki struggles desperately against the super minion of death that is pushing down the Nexus. So a little bit of an unfortunate ending, guys. So we're just going to be, you know, spectating this out here. I really am trying to think if there's anything else at all, organizationally or otherwise, to mention here. There's certainly, you know, going to thank our teams for participating in the EUS Challenger Series 16. It was a very, very long bracket that we had going because we ran a little preliminary tournament, which we don't usually do, but we had a lot of applicants for this game. As it happens on this occasion, it actually looks like my spectator client has...
Oh, that is very, very unfortunate.
Well, I mean, there wasn't much else to be watching, to be honest. I think I'm going to be brutally honest about the whole thing, but yeah, maybe it... Oh, it's working again. There we go. Lovely. I can now watch spawn pad dives.
Alright, that is always nice to see. Okay, it seems like we will be done with this game in a couple of minutes if ONS will actually decide to finish off this Nexus. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Your Challenger Series number 16 champions is going to be Oinkers Never Sleep, with quite an anticlimactic ending.
Yeah, a little bit sad there, but guys, don't go anywhere. We have the We Play Invitational coming up very, very shortly.